And then give me 1 second here while I share my screen. We can bring up the agenda.
Elva, do you have attendance, or do you want people to put names and locations in the chat?
No, I've got it. Yeah, I've got attendance. Thank you, Heidi. Okay. So this is what I've got here for our agenda for today. Cassie, I know you're not feeling well, so I'm sorry to kind of put you on the spot, but I was hoping that maybe you could give us a little bit of an update of, how things are going, or kind of where the committee is at, since we last met with you all.
Nothing has happened since we last met.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
okay.
That's all right. Yep. Like Vic mentioned in our
No judgment.
Yep, no judgment, none at all. We're gonna take it slow, just give you guys an update. What we have now is the Impact Conference. So Heidi and I have started planning that. We have some information to share with you all. So we have some dates confirmed and the location. So we're looking at Thursday, September 26th and Friday, September 27th of this year. And our location, we will be going back to the Stony Creek Hotel in the Johnston area. It is my understanding that Impact was hosted there a few years back. So yeah, we're gonna go back this year.
That was our first location.
Ah, okay.
Yep. And save a spot for Cassie.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
She's going to be doing a session on conscious discipline for us.
That is where I fly out Monday morning, but to South Carolina, it's conscious discipline for administrators. So I've never attended one like that before, so it'll be interesting. And so, yes, then I'll come back and do a session.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you, Cassie. Well, I'll make sure to put that here in our notes then, that that you will be doing a session on that. So we've got an early bird rate. So registration will open June 3rd, and there will be that early bird rate through August 2nd. So that'll be 140 registration per person. And then after that August 2nd date, it goes up to 175. So make sure that you and your staff get all registered when it opens. And of course, we'll, blast that and make sure we send, communication out to everyone.
It's nice that you hit both fiscal years. So whoever's got money from this year and then hitting up next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard part is knowing what staff you could be sending by August 2nd, but it's all doable.
It is. And, if you want to send staff, but you don't know exactly who, we'll work with you. We've done that before. Just put through a registration and then you can add a name to it later.
Yep, there was a program we did that for last year. They knew they were hiring 5 new people and knew that they would want them there. So like Heidi said, we just did, we had them registered, just kind of like a participant one, just to get them through, get their registration in. And then, of course, once you have that person onboarded, just let me know their names and we'll make sure to get them a name tag. But yeah, that's totally doable. So next up, we have our presenters, our call for presenters and exhibitors. Those forms will open Thursday, April 18th. Heidi and I will, of course, email all of our previous exhibitors and presenters and let them know about Impact this year. And we're looking at only having exhibitors that Thursday, September 26th date. We didn't, not that there wasn't much value to have them there on the second day, but as we only had, I think it was 15 exhibitors last year, Heidi, and so
the feedback, basically the feedback we got from exhibitors was they were able, people who wanted to stop and talk, which was pretty much everybody, there was plenty of opportunity for them to do that on the first day. And the exhibitors were like, you know, one day is plenty for us. We're busy too, like everybody else. So if we could just come for that one full day, that'd be better. And that's actually better for us too, because then we don't have to feed them on day two.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And of course, if they want to register for the conference, which they're welcome to do, then they could just come back as an attendee on the second day.
For sure. So we'll make sure to get those forms out. So, if there's any, partner that you're working with that you think would be, nice to have at Impact, please, we encourage you to share that out. Keynote speaker, we haven't really touched much on that. So really what we're looking for is just some, feedback or some suggestions that you all may have on a good keynote speaker for Impact this year.
What criteria do you guys or have you guys used in the past to pick your keynote?
Yeah, that's a good question, Erin. I don't think there's really been a ton of structure around it other than I know that in years past when I was on this committee, people, if there were more suggestions, we would then vet some of the different options, take a look at, what kind of speaking they've done in the past, what like the theme is, and then also, what they cost and whether or not that's part of the budget. We had, last year we had Coach D. He was one of our more expensive, I guess, keynote speakers that we've had, and good. We've also looked at a couple of different conferences around the country, and there is a trend to really not doing that big keynote and just having maybe like a lunch speaker or a potentially shorter keynote too. So, and then having more session time. I mean, I think we're just really open to creative suggestions, and we can, this committee can do whatever we want, really, is if what we think is good for our network and our attendees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One person I have in mind, his name is Andre Wright. He started the House of Fashion in Iowa City, but his big project is Humanize My Hoodie. It focuses on marginalized people of color. And I think that would be a great resource for some of our programs that are in Des Moines, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City. And it'd be diverse, something that some of our smaller groups may not get to experience.
Absolutely. Is there a website, Erin?
Yep, I can drop it in the, I can send you an email with it.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Erin.
And we have time. So as people are thinking too, feel free to shoot us an email with a name and an idea.
Yep. Yeah. And even if you don't have that, connection with that person, but maybe you've heard them speak in a different conference or, meeting, and you think that they would be a good fit, please, send them our way. We'd be happy to, reach out to them or even just look into them. Workshop topics. I will make sure to write Cassie down as that conscious discipline for administrators. That's really exciting, Cassie. So yeah, thank you for that. But if you all have any suggestions or any feedback for Heidi and I on topics that you would like us to research and see, how we can get them at Impact this year, or just any ideas.
Okay, this is a good place for me to update you guys on some new department rules on professional development. The feds have updated, and I dropped a link in the chat, the Title II professional development, and we've got a lot of people that are new, at the department, and so they're trying to blanket this across all the programs, but it doesn't always work. For one, they're almost denying everybody going to a conference. However, that does not apply to us. Most of our conferences are directly connected with our work, or they are conferences from the Department of, what the heck? Just came up asking me to confirm my speaking language.
Oh.
And I'm not speaking Arabic. Technology,
That's
you
funny.
know. So anyway, we're way ahead of the curve. You know, I've been doing PD for over 25 years. At one time, I had a position as a professional development specialist at a district, and our stuff is connected. What they're looking for is long-term PD, but we have already a community of practice. All of these committees connect to the work, and this you can count as your PD in your PD plans. So the nice thing is there's not much we have to do other than inform others of how we are doing professional development. And besides the, you know, having it be more than a one-stop session, we want to show connection. So on these sessions, we want to make sure we've got a link to some resources, not just, you know, here's the presentation, you sit down and you leave kind of thing. So make sure that our speakers provide us with a website, you know, or some sort of a resource that we can use. And that's going to be good for everybody. And I know we've done that in the past, but we just want to be mindful that, you know, with the department is, you know, going through these changes and trying to be more efficient. And we're already there. We just have to, you know, let them know that we do understand the PD requirements and we will be, you know, following these rules. So, any questions?
No.
No, that sounds fine. Did you want to share anything from that link or just so that we have it?
No, that's just, you know, so that we have it. A lot of it doesn't directly apply. Some of it is broadly applied.
Okay.
You know, like they're cracking down on reimbursements for conferences. However, you know, we have our state conference and there's the summer symposium that's run by the U.S. Department of Ed. So, you know, it's hard to say, okay, you can't go to the U.S. Department of Ed conference because it doesn't qualify as PD.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And some of the other conferences, like there's Beyond School Hours, that I believe they usually have that in Florida or Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that's also connected with the U.S. Department of Ed. There's one, some of them are connected with state departments of ed. Like there's one coming up in Palm Springs that I've had requests for, and others are directly related to our work, like the one that Cassie's going to. We've been doing conscious discipline for a while. And so, you know, I get asked these questions. Why is this allowable? So we want to make sure that we are clear in those connections. And if you do request going out of state for a conference, it's pretty simple. You send me the conference URL, the agenda, and the names of the people who want to go. I don't know, some of you may remember that a few years back, they actually had you filling out a conference request form, same one that I fill out. That was not, you know, not very efficient. And we kind of overwhelmed the department and they says, yeah, we can't handle all these requests. And that's when we came up with the I can do this via email, and then we have a record, and you have a record too.
Indeed. Hey, Alva, two quick things before you move us along.
Mhm.
I don't think that you mentioned that with Stony Creek, they are honoring also our state rate, room rate, and they will be holding a block of rooms for folks that are traveling from out of town. So that's not something that anyone will have to worry about. And then Elva, I wondered if I see a couple of faces that I don't recognize on the call. Could we take just a minute to kind of introduce everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, if we want to just kind of popcorn around, I can go ahead and start. Hi, I'm Elva Griffin, a program coordinator for the Iowa After School Alliance. Yeah.
And I'm Heidi Brown, director of the Iowa After School Alliance. And this is our first one back, and
Yeah.
maybe we've met, and if we have, I'm super sorry because it was probably just once. Anyway, we're happy to be here, and I was just scrolling down through the participants and saw a couple people I don't know. Cassie, would you go next?
Hello, I have bronchitis, so I apologize. I'm Cassie Gerst. I work for Burlington Community School District in Southeast Iowa. I am the supervisor of grants and community outreach for the district. So I am the grant director of the 21st Century Community Learning Center grants, and then many other things. But I've been here in this role at the district I was finishing my 9th school year here. So I have 2 grants currently, but I've had the grants for 10 years. So here in the district.
I'm Erin Brookshire, director of Dodger Academy After School Programming in Fort Dodge.
I am George Phillips.
Hi, I'm Shea Paulson. Oh, sorry. I'm Shea Paulson. I'm from Council Bluffs School District, and I'm a program coordinator for 4 of our elementary buildings.
I am
Welcome.
George Phillips for the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley in Waterloo, Iowa. I am the program director here at the Boys and Girls Club.
Wonderful.
All right. And I'm Vic Jarvis, Iowa Department of Ed.
Thanks everybody for taking the time. I appreciate it, especially Shea and Georgia. It's nice to see you guys on here, and please know that you can reach out to us with anything that you need. All right, Elva, I'll let you take it back.
Oh, and Heidi,
Yeah,
we have a couple of candidates we might want to put on our new grantee list.
yeah.
New staff / new grantee. We have training specific to when you're starting out, with what we expect in Iowa. So you'll find it very, very helpful.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
I dropped our email addresses in the chat as well. So Heidi and I got some new email addresses this year. So we've changed from SPPG to now at iowaafterschoolalliance.org. So please update your contact list if you haven't already. But yes, Shea and George, welcome and thank you for being here. Yes, feel free to reach out if there's anything that we can do for you. You can reach out to me or Heidi or both. Yeah, but we're happy to have you guys. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. All right. Okay, and so next up we have IAA PD calendar. So what we did is we created a calendar of events on the Iowa After School Alliance website, where it's just a calendar, and I can show that to you guys. And it lists all of our PD that is currently available. Let me know if you guys can see that page. Yeah, okay, perfect. So that link was shared on the agenda, but you guys can get to that here through the training and events. And it should be a drop down, but it's not, so I'll make sure to fix that. But if you click on training and events on the Iowa After School Alliance website, it should be down here on the side, but there will be a drop down, I promise. So if you click on that calendar of events, like I said, it's in the name here. Got all of our events that are happening, our PDs, our webinars, all of that, that will be listed here. And in fact, it'll give you a link to register. So that'll take you straight to the registration page for that webinar. We encourage you to share this with your staff and have them register, if they're looking for, an hour and a half, an hour for that HHS credit, they can, register for that. And if you haven't already registered for our Mindful Leadership Toxic Stress Prevention, I encourage you to do that now. We had some great success on our first Mindful Leadership with, what was it, burnout, building resilience with Michelle Wilson, and we had some great feedback. So if you attended that, thank you so much. And again, I'll make sure to share that link with you all so you can go back and refer to that. But like I said, we've got another great webinar that's coming up. This is Best Practice in STEM Equity with the Iowa Children's Museum. So we've got the director, Rebecca Domeyer, and she will be taking us through a 1-hour training. So if you haven't registered for that, again, that's an easy 1-hour credit towards HHS credit.
And just note, these aren't just for credit from HHS. These are open to anyone in the network. They're open to all 21st century sites, and they're always free.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I also have them listed here. So Wednesday, April 24th is our next Mindful Leadership series. And then we've got May 1st coming up is our Best Practice in STEM Equity. And then May 22nd or May 29th is our third Mindful Leadership series. And we do have another set of 3 that will be announced soon. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah, did any of you attend the first Mindful Leadership series? No? Erin shaking your head, yes. Yeah, any thoughts or any feedback you want to share, Erin?
No, I was kind of surprised that there was a lot of people that were actually registered and that attended for it. So I was super excited. I kind of hope that they keep going because then I can get my staff in on them.
Yeah, I couldn't believe there were 80+ people in that training. That's probably one of the biggest we've ever had.
Right, especially since we've been back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Elva, there's a couple questions in the chat. Cassie asked if we know the timing for impact. Tentatively, yes. We will begin the day probably at 8 or 9. It's going to depend on the hotel schedule and when they do breakfast and exhibitor setup. And then we will end either at lunch or before, and then take a lunch home with you, but it'll be a little bit, later in the, not like an 11 o'clock lunch, more like a noon or 12:30 kind of lunch. Secondly, are you still the PD chair? Well, yeah, I hope so, unless you're ready to retire. And if so, you gotta let us know, because then we're gonna need a year's written retirement plan.
Oh, I would love to retire from things, but no, yeah,
I mean, that's fine. You can give your notice. It's 18 months. And then she asked Vic if you have any estimated timeline on the next funding grant announcements.
Well, every year, the first week of September is when we plan on doing our announcement. And that only changed last year because I was on vacation and the gal that was supposed to post it on the website quit. And I didn't find out till I got back from vacation. So everything was delayed a little bit, but we compensated by giving you more time to submit. So, anytime something like that happens, I'm going to give you the extra time you need. So, but it's for the last decade, it's always been the first week of September.
And then Vic has a question. Oh, Cassie said no, she means who's being funded from this past round.
Oh, I can't tell you that, but it's going to be soon that I make the announcement. I got all the information back that I needed. And I would be working on it now, but there's that second after school grant, and I am behind the scenes on that as well. And they want me to review some of those things. But yeah, I expect that by the first week of May, I will be doing contracts for the 21st Century Grant. So it's just a matter of, me getting a couple of hours to plug into that to get the thing done. I've got a lot of the calculations already done. And like always, a lot of people, there was a little bit of reduction in fundings, and everything went pretty smooth. So there's just a little bit of stuff to do, and we'll have that announcement official.
How many applications did you receive?
Oh, you'd ask me that. Well, I'm gonna have to look at a document. I think it was about 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
so it wasn't a whole lot.
Chances are okay,
Yeah.
sweating a
Usually
little.
in Iowa, you've got a pretty good chance, only because a lot of people are intimidated by the amount of, paperwork required. And I believe it, yeah, this used to be a 120-page application. And, we've shortened it as much as we can, but it's a federal grant and there are a lot of requirements. We can't change that. We've got one of the shorter applications, and we give you more time than any other state. So that's why it's, some states do a 30-day turnaround. Of course, they have, more staff that they can do something like that with. Me being the only one doing it, we have to make sure we've got enough time that I can get all the pieces done and set up for you guys. So we do have the technical assistance, and I've also done additional ones with folks and help them with the questions they had on applying. So we're doing everything we can to make the application accessible so that it's not biased in favor of just the big urban districts that have grant writers. We want to make sure that everybody can apply.
Speaking of funding, can I make a comment on the other after school grant that's out there? So we chose not to apply. It's hard, but we have received a lot of different funding from COVID money. And the back end has been, and I'm gonna be, are we recorded though? This is recorded.
Yeah, we're pretty much done.
Yeah,
I think you
just-
could turn the
Just hang
recording
tight
off.
for just one moment because I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I can go ahead and stop the recording now. Give me 1 second.